So I'm still trying to learn how to friend people on YouTube. So if you've asked to be my YouTube friend, I have no clue how to do that yet. I'm still in the learning process of this vlogging thing. I'm not a huge tech guy. I know enough about it to make things work. That's about the extent of it. And I also wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about privacy in my life. Has always been an issue. It's always something that's being invaded. It's nothing new. I've shown you guys the videos of hacked phones and weird occurrences. So that's nothing new. That's been a problem since the 90s when I was 6 or 7 years old. So it's nothing new. It's something that's been going on a long time. We are going to be doing some experiments this fall when it's nice and cool with the gear reduced pump and gear amplified motors. It is going to be water, not hydraulic fluid. So it's going to be a little bit different. Hydraulic fluid's expensive. Basically, you're going to get a kiddie pool, have a return line that dumps water back in the kiddie pool. Definitely gonna sketch up a little something to show you guys how I'm gonna test it. There's probably gonna be a shield involved in case anything does go wrong, pipes burst, anything like that. There's gonna be a shield in front of me when I'm operating this for sure. What's gonna happen is there's gonna be a line that goes back into the kiddie pool from the pump, and then another line that goes to the motor, and they're both gonna have a valve on them, a PVC valve. And I'm going to open both valves first. Well, the line back to the kiddie pool is going to be open when I start the engine to where it'll just cycle back into the kiddie pool. And then I'm going to open both valves. I'm going to open the other valves to where it can start going to the motor, and then slowly shut the valve going back to the kiddie pool. And what we're going to do is we're going to pulley amplify, not gear amplify. Maybe if we find the parts cheap enough, we might do the gear amplified for the testing purposes. Definitely the finished product is going to be gear amplified, but the testing purposes are going to be pulley amplified. The pump is going to be gear reduced. I did find a pump online. Not a pump, but I did find a gear reduction box online, cheap enough for me to use. I'll definitely show you the brand and things like that I'm going to use, and the gear ratio reduction that I'm going to use. And I'm going to have to find a old used V-twin engine off a riding lawnmower for the type of displacement I'm going to need for the pump. And it's definitely going to be the valves, the one-way valves for the pump are going to be probably made out of PVC as well. It's going to be a high pressure PVC. It's not going to be, you know, cheap PVC pipe. It's going to be somewhat costly, but not a whole lot. I'm not exactly going through with hydraulic lines to do this right now because hydraulic lines are really expensive. I basically just want to prove that the idea would work. And what it's going to be is I'm basically going to have, like if this is hollow, I'm basically going to have this, and then I'm going to have a bigger one around it that's going to be filled with silicone or epoxy. So the interstitial space in between them, like you got that much space, that's going to be filled with epoxy to strengthen the walls of the motor. And there's going to be a metal shaft with some bearings and some seals, and we're going to test two of them. We're going to test one that's got a probably 2-inch line going in and a 2-inch line coming out, or 1.5 in this instance. It'll probably be 1.5 or 1. So we're going to see if it's more efficient to have a larger line coming out of the motor than going in. And then once we find out what's going to be more efficient, we're going to use that motor to try to pulley amplify 50 pounds. So we're going to have some 50-pound weights bolted to the shaft of the larger pulley. That's going to be our test basis and test theory to see if that hydraulic motor or hydraulic, HYDROLIC, since it's water, is going to be strong enough to pull it. And if I can make it work with a PVC line, I am pretty confident that it would work with hydraulic lines and more permanent structure. And like I explained in the earlier video, the gear amplification on the props is so that the hydraulic motor will not have as much RPM range to drop or raise to change the speed of the prop. That's the basic idea of it, because, you know, obviously if it's 5 times gear amplified and we drop 100 RPMs on the motor and it's spinning 500 RPMs, we're going to drop 500 RPMs on the prop. So that theory is also going to be tested with a hydrant coming off of the line. Basically, we're just going to open it up and have a water hose run back to the kiddie pool, or, you know, whatever we decide to do with that. It'll probably just be a water hose. We'll basically open that up slowly and see if it slows down the motor, or if the motor stops altogether. I'd say, since I'm probably not going to be, since it's going to need to lower a lot less to slow down the prop, or in this case the weights, I'd say it's definitely going to work. I'm not going to tell you it's definitely going to work. It might blow up as soon as I start the thing, which is why I'm probably going to have a shield in front of me. We're going to see. I'm not going to allow this to be one of those things where I come up with something and someone hacked into my phone, overhears me, or someone close by listening hears it and goes, well, that's a good idea, I'm going to do that. So that's what this vlog is for. We're going to go ahead and test those theories this fall, which is, you know, something that's pretty common. You can hear right now. There's already comments about it, so it's definitely a pretty common thing. It has been happening since the 90s, which is unfortunate, but it's definitely a common thing. This time I decided, well, we're going to go ahead and post this stuff online, and we're going to have a vlog and things like that, and we're going to see what comes of it. Whether we see someone else's hydraulic flying car flying in the next 2 years, or if we see mine. So this is just pretty well, we're testing 2 theories here, which I already have proof of the first theory, that my life has almost zero privacy, and it has been a huge issue. So we're going to test the second theory of whether or not we can pulley or gear amplify a hydraulic motor, and it might work, it might not. I'll put a 50-pound weight on it. According to the math, it should work, but sometimes math is wrong, things like that happen. So we're going to see how much we can amplify a pulley off of a hydraulic motor to see what happens. And we're definitely going to see if it is better to have a larger return line off of a hydraulic motor than the entry line. There's a few theories we're going to test. I'm going to test having 2 spools in the hydraulic motor and doing the same thing. So we're going to have 3 different hydraulic motors that we're going to build out of PVC. And like I said, we're going to use an epoxy or a silicone to fill the interstitial space between the inner wall and the outer wall to give it some strength and make it strong enough to withstand 200 psi, or it's probably going to be about 200 psi, which is why the weights are going to be about 50 pounds. We're going to see if we can make 200 or 500 psi, somewhere in between that range, move one 50-pound weight with a lawnmower engine. So that's going to be a test that we do. We're going to use PVC valves to control the flow of it, and we're going to use a faucet or a tap, if you will, to open it up, and it might be just another PVC valve, because a lot of faucets have a very small hole. So what I'll probably do is use just regular PVC valve to let pressure off the line. So that's what we're going to see. We're going to see. I might try 2 PVC valves in the line to see if I let pressure out but I hold some pressure on the line, or if I let fluid out but I hold some pressure on the line, if that works to slow down the motors. And so obviously we've already got comments about it. Not a big thing to me. I care less what they think. We're going to test the theory. It's just kind of like 96. I take a drawing to my stepfather, and it's 4 electric motors with props on it, and he says that would never work. So we throw the thing away, and 10 years later we have drones, and my heart just sank when that happened. That was